We've been warning you guys not to take sides. Don't take sides on anything, because you're only getting half-truths, unless you're there to see it for yourself. I live in Canada, and somehow every time I turn on the TV, the radio, the news feed, the so-called trusted sources, which I try to avoid as much as possible, it's Trump, 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 like he's the Prime Minister of Canada, the King of the Commonwealth, and the CEO of the CBC, and all at once. You can't escape it. Every headline is Trump destroys democracy. Trump threatens stability. Trump is dangerous to the world. Dude, give me a break. I'm in the lineup at shopping center. Trump this, Trump that, listening to people talking to the cashier. Remember Barack Hussein Obama? Remember those years? And let me tell you something, and we told you this already. That man divided America right down the middle. Race relations exploded. BLM riots spread across cities. Remember that? Drone strikes increased in Pakistan and other countries there. Wall Street got bailed out. The surveillance state expanded. Police were demonized. Communities were set afire. He dropped 4 bombs every hour during his administration. Look it up. CNN's reporting it. 4 bombs every hour. Did the Canadian media say anything? No, not one peep. Not a single peep. Not one whisper. Not a think piece. You know why? From the CBC? Why? Because Obama fit the script. He checked the boxes. He was the media's golden boy. They worshipped him like a saint while the country was led tearing itself apart. But Trump, oh no, Trump is the enemy. Trump is the villain. Trump is dangerous to Canada. What? How? He's not even our leader. Canada put itself in this position with all the money laundering and the Chinese money laundering and the fentanyl, creating a dangerous state to the north. Canadian media is so obsessed with American politics that we've turned into a satellite state for the U.S. Democrat propaganda. We don't get news. We get approved narratives straight from Washington, New York, and Davos. CBC turns into MSNBC North every election cycle. And you know why they do this? Because Ottawa and the political elites and the universities and the bureaucrats, they all need a boogeyman. And that's why we made a video. Canada needs Trump back in office to create that boogeyman. They need Trump to distract you from the real problems. The housing collapse, the Chinese fentanyl, the Chinese money laundering, the trillions of dollars laundered through Canada, middle class wiped out, food inflation, youth exodus, small business destruction. We're being taxed to death. If Trump wasn't around, Canadian media would have to actually talk about Trudeau's failures. And they can't have that. Obama divided America, and Canada said nothing. Trump sneezes, and Canada calls a national emergency. This isn't journalism, folks. This is like state-funded narrative-controlled political theater. Let's put it that way. Wake up, folks. Basically, and I just said what the Canadian media refuses to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't take sides. Listen. Pay attention. Follow the script. Mike Martins here. I have spoken.
Well, he has just aired most of the things many Americans are feeling. And right now, Americans are calling out Canada for blaming Donald Trump on every sort of problem that is literally happening in Canada right now. Well, the Liberal government, they say it doesn't want to work for the people. The Canadians are literally struggling and suffering high cost of living, inflation, overtaxation, housing crisis, lack of jobs, mass immigration, and every sort of problem that is in Canada right now. But somehow, if you ask them, they will tell you, well, we think that Donald Trump is the one responsible for these problems in Canada. I mean, Americans are calling out Canadians, especially the Canadian media, for being obsessed with Donald Trump and blaming every sort of problem that is happening for Canadians on Donald Trump, pinning every problem that is happening in Canada on Donald Trump. In this video, let's watch a couple of reactions about the same, then we shall be talking about it.
Canadian conservatives, I got some unsolicited advice for you, the type you're not going to like, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. You know what you sound like every time you say it's Trump's fault why Pierre lost? Do you know what you sound like every time you say it's Trump's fault? Why Pierre Poilievre lost. And not only did he lose the prime minister, but he lost his seat that he's held since 2004. That is embarrassing. Each time you say that, you sound like the 51st state of the United States of America. You validate Trump's points, why you need him. You validate why you see him as your head of state. So you're blaming the president for your governor losing in Canada. It is embarrassing, because if you did not even view it that way, you would never even bring up the point. You would never say it's Trump's fault. You wouldn't, because you're your own country. Who the hell that loses an election in a country where the opposing political parties' policies were so exposed the last 4 years during COVID that every country around the world knew how shitty things were in Canada, and you still didn't know how to make it win. You still didn't know how to win. And you lose your parliament, and you guys all acted like he was going to win and it was going to be a landslide victory. But no, it's Trump's fault. Of course, it's Trump's fault. No, it's Trump's fault, because we view ourselves as the 51st state. Please don't think I'm talking about every conservative in Canada. I'm specifically talking to the fanboy of Pierre Poilievre conservatives that were so convinced that this whole thing was going to be done, and all these other critics. You guys are such terrible critics and unfair. He's such a great man. I don't care how great of a man and a husband he is. The market doesn't give handouts of prime minister to great men and women. They give it to winners. You either win or you don't. They don't give it to victims, crybabies. It's not fair. It's Trump's fault. That is so unattractive. But you lost in a big way, and you handed it over to the guy that came up with the economic policies of Justin Trudeau. I don't know, again, I keep saying this, if I've seen anything more embarrassing than this. But stop blaming Trump for your loss. You sound like the 51st state every time you say that. That's all I think about when I hear everybody blame Trump for Canada losing. You are the 51st state. Or else act like you have your own country and stop whining about another country's head of state.
Here's Mark Carney openly admitting that the world is changing because of the tariffs and the different alliances that Trump is making. So he understands that the United States is no longer going to be subsidizing your country. And in turn, he says that now jobs have grown in Canada more than in the United States since Trump put the tariffs on. And it's also forced them to go find relationships like with China. I don't know how that's going to work out, but good. You should not be totally reliant on the American taxpayer and the American consumer to offset your economy. You should be looking for other partners that can help your country grow.
It was that short and sweet, and basically what they are trying to say that Canada should stop blaming Donald Trump for their sort of problem. And personally, by what they are saying, they don't mean Canadians. They mean the current government. I mean, they always stop working for the people. And when the people start asking, why is there still housing crisis in 2026, yet you have billions and billions of money giving foreign aid to other countries like Ukraine? Well, the excuse they'll come up with will be like, we have housing crisis in Canada. We still have that? Oh, we didn't know, but Donald Trump. Yes, I think Donald Trump. And when Canadians demand answers like, why is there inflation of food up to 6.2% in 2026? Why is there still inflation? Why is high cost of living finishing Canadians? I mean, why are groceries so expensive? They will look around and be like, oh, Donald Trump tariffs. Yes, Donald Trump tariffs. Donald Trump's tariffs. I mean, they will be like, and why do we still lack employment? Why are youths not being employed in Canada? Why is there an employment crisis in Canada? Why are people saying we don't have jobs in Canada? They'll be like, guys, come on. grow up. Don't you know that Donald Trump attacked Venezuela and captured Maduro the other day? I mean, I'm just trying to picture out how these people are trying or are trying to expose it, are trying to put it. I mean, they are saying Canada is under crisis. There are very many sorts of problems that needs to be fixed by the Prime Minister and the Liberal government in Canada. But somehow, instead of finding solutions to their problems, they'll find a way to maneuver around those problems and end up blaming Donald Trump, blaming Trump for the conservative losing, blaming Donald Trump for his tariffs, blaming Donald Trump for the high cost of living in Canada, inflation, high cost of groceries, blaming Donald Trump for the immigration crisis instead of fixing it. So, in short, they are saying the Canadian government should stop, the Canadian government and the Canadian media and those people who are blaming Donald Trump on every sort of problem in Canada to stop blaming Donald Trump and find a solution on it. But guys, really, do you think they are blaming Donald Trump on everything? If you've been watching mainstream media on any news or article about Donald Trump in relation to Canada, do you think they are blaming Donald Trump? And if not, who are we to blame for the problems in Canada? Personally, I know, but I won't expose. Like, I won't say, who do we blame for all sorts of problems in Canada? Is it Donald Trump? Is it the Prime Minister, the Liberal government, or the Canadians for complaining too much? Tell me what you think in the comment section and see you in our next episode.